Hi everyone, it's Nicole and I have another layout using the April Scraptastic kits. I had the Let Me Go and Worth Wondering, had both kits and both add-ons, and I'm just showing you some of the products that I pulled from the kit and some of the pattern papers, and a lot of it is scraps, crepe paper, that I believe that was a fancy pants, and I pulled a stamp, and it's a Kaiser Craft stamp, and it's called Checker Plate, and it reminded me of like tire tracks, because this is the page that's going to go next to actually the page that's being released today on my YouTube channel. Today's the 11th, but this one probably won't go up for, I don't know, 3 or 4 days, because I'm always way ahead on my voiceover. I always have between 2 and 5 sort of uploaded on YouTube and just ready to be released kind of thing, so that when I go to work for 5 or 6 days in a row, I can still put up a video every second day, and there's no quite a few days without releasing a video. So my oldest daughter was first to work at this Speedway, and like I said, it's about 15 minutes from our house. So she worked at the ticket booth, and so I took a picture of her. We had gone to the race one Sunday, and I took a picture of her, and I just used pattern paper. It was from Fancy Pants. It was just a black background. The backside was okay. I liked it, but I didn't mind using it as just a plain background. And then I mounted my photos on a what color would that be? Sort of like a cantaloupe color. Like if you have Stampin' Up! Colors, it looks like crisp cantaloupe. And then I cut a large 6-inch dolly in half. I cut down one of the photos probably 5 inches. I put one vertical, one horizontal, and then I cut the cardstock so that it's got a spot on the bottom so that I can put my title there. And then I put a doily so that I would really pop. And then I'm going to use the thickers that came in this month's kit, and they're black with white sort of sketchy letters, and I really like that. And now this is where I'm going to use that stamp, and I'm just going to stamp on the layout a little bit here. Well, actually just in two areas, the top left and the bottom right. And it just reminds me of tire tracks, and that's why I want to put that there. And I'm just going to take my heat gun and dry it up, because that's pigment ink, the white ink. It's from Close to My Heart. And the base of my layout is done. This layout took me an hour and 4 minutes to complete. And now I'm just going to cut a couple of strips. At first I think I'm going to use the polka dots. And it's going to stay that way for quite a long time, until I actually go to glue it down. And when I flip it on the other side, of course the other side of this pattern paper is the tickets, and I thought, well, that's perfect. That's where she works, is at the ticket booth. So I'm going to end up doing the strips at the top and the bottom so it looks like it's the tickets. And then I cut a piece of that almost looked like a chevron, black and white chevron, and I put it in behind the photo, and it was in the size that it was in. I cut 2 little pieces of that polka dot, and I put it at the top and the bottom of the layout. And again, this is going to go opposite to the other page I already did, so I'm trying to use some of the same pattern paper so that it's not a 2-page spread, but it coordinates nicely alongside each other. So now I'm starting to go through some of the die cuts that I cut apart, and it's the back side of that polka dot pattern paper. And what I did is I just went in my own stash and just got an extra pattern paper, and I just cut all those tickets apart, and I'm using them as die cuts throughout all my layouts. There was quite a bit of die cuts, not as much as last month, I would say, but there was still, a fair amount, but I found that I needed that extra, and it's especially it was a sheet that came in the kit, but I just love that polka dot paper too much. I wanted to use that polka dot paper in, whether it was as a background or cut apart. I just wanted to make sure that I was able to use the entire sheet. Now I want to use a few cork pieces on this layout. One of them is the little car because of course it is a racetrack with racing cars. And then also a little banner. And what I do is I use my Hero Arts white dauber and I color them in. And I thought I want to use those little hearts too. I don't end up using them on this layout, but I'm sure I'll use them on another layout at another time. But that's the base coat for the cork anyway, is Hero Arts. So even I'm just not going to color it in the second color. That way I can use it on any other layout. I had pulled another sheet from my stash too, and it was these cameras that I'm cutting apart and I'm using with this kit. Now I'm using my Ranger dauber and the black soot ink, distress ink, and I'm going to ink all the edges of all the pattern papers. And that's going to take me a few minutes to get that done, and then I'm going to take one of my Staedtler Tri Plus fine liner and I'm going to outline all the pattern papers. And it just kind of helps, just kind of say, hey, these pattern papers were meant to be kind of put together. And this is where I notice, hey, this side has little tickets on it. So that's like totally appropriate for this layout. But where I had inked the edges on the other side, I got to take my little dauber and ink all the edges again. Now I'm going to take my ATG gun and glue the strips down. And I have to say that is my favorite adhesive is my ATG gun. It's probably one of the most cost effective. I mean, the quick Scotch quick dry adhesive is quite cheap too. I mean, I always use a coupon. Okay, so the recording stopped. So what I was saying, I always use a coupon, so it's super cheap. But once you glue down with the Scotch quick dry adhesive, you're done. Like, you cannot think about removing the piece and moving it. It's there to stay. Or you're just gonna, you could rip it off, but you're gonna end up ruining some stuff. So that's why a lot of times I like using my ATG gun, because then I have that option. It's a little bit more forgiving before it becomes, permanent. So at this point, I'm going to start putting everything down. I'm going to take a few minutes and cut out those cameras. And I walked away and I'm not really sure where I went. Okay, so I went and got my new little dauber from Tim Holtz, and I love this one. It's so tiny. And then I went and got one of my inks and I just put it right on that little foamy thing, and then I just inked up the banners that way because I just wanted to color them in really quickly. And now I'm going to start gluing down the tickets and all the different clusters. Okay, so usually I have, the gift of gab, but today I am super struggling. So basically, I just put all, the clusters together, and it was all stuff from the kit. And while I'm doing that, I just want to remind you that in the link, there is a link for my Facebook group. And on my Facebook group, I challenge everyone every month to, do different things. In April, it was, between the group, we had to do between 300 and 350 pages, which we accomplished. In May was to use new stuff. In June is to use mixed media, just to kind of, motivate each other to get things done. There's well over 800 ladies on the group. And so the link is in the description. And another thing is, don't forget to subscribe. I have 200, this is the 271th process video that I have on my YouTube channel. This year, that's 110 that I've posted this year. And my goal for this year is to post 240. So I still have 130 to post in 6 months. And so there's going to be a lot of fun and exciting things. So just subscribe, and then all it does, it just emails you and lets you know when I post a video. And I post all still pictures to my Facebook group, to a two peas in a bucket. I really can't talk today. 2 peas in a bucket, a cherry on top, the Scraptastic Facebook group, and that one you have to be a member of Scraptastic, and Instagram, Twitter, and where else? And the Scraptastic blog and Pinterest. So that's all the different places where I upload still pictures so that you can have a longer look, because I know with the video it kind of, it's kind of one little far away. It's not really close up, and then 2 at the end, it kind of goes quickly. So I grabbed one of the, to get back to the layout, I grabbed one of those little circles that came in the kit, and it says date, and I'm just going to use some of the stickers that came in the kit, but on the Fancy Pants sticker sheet. And the year was 2004, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put the year on this layout, 2004. The title is Summer Job, and then I put a little car right next to it I added some washi tape from my stash. I added a few stickers, the puffy hearts that came in the kit, and then a puffy little camera. And now here are a few close-ups of the whole layout, and then I took some pictures of each different little embellishment clusters. And this layout, I didn't add any twine. Go figure. So that's it. The page is done. Thanks for watching. Bye.